Andrew Borene is Executive Director for Ocient. It's great to see you, Sweet. Thanks for joining me today. Used a term before we went on the air that I want you to define. What is an extreme scale data set?
Yeah, hey, that's a great question. And I think what we are increasingly seeing is that limits on agentic AI. AI is the hot topic right now. How do you use an AI agent? Is your AI agent trusted and auditable? Um, One of the things I think is going to be most important is that no AI agent is any better than the scale and the fidelity of the data that it gets access to in real time. So I think if you kind of think of it as like a chemical reaction, you want to use up every single atom or molecule in your reaction. And AI is really not different. It's just math. So extreme scale data sets, anything bigger than 50 terabytes, 100 terabytes. We at Ocient, we're doing a lot of work around petabytes and zettabytes. So we're talking like trillion, quadrillion records. And when I talk about that, it makes a lot of sense to folks in cybersecurity because that's a very data intensive environment. It makes sense to the geospatial people. It makes sense to the signals intelligence people. But I think really this is going to be critical when we talk about open source intelligence because all these data sets and internet telemetry, geospatial, date time groups, all that stuff's now available in the open source.
Mm-hmm. What's the impact of all of this avalanche of data that we talk about all the time having on the way that the IC gets what it needs but gets only what it needs? What is it doing from an acquisition perspective that maybe it didn't do before?
Sure. I think one of the more interesting things on an acquisition pathway is the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is working to put out this ICDC acquisition vehicle. I believe it's an Other Transaction Authority or an OTA. That'll be the first time, I believe this is the first ever Other Transaction Authority that's going to empower every single intelligence agency of the 18 departments and agencies to purchase direct and then have that consolidate through ODNI. And I think it's going to be, I think OSINT was a good place to start with this as a model. ODNI, as a former officer there, I think ODNI's got a long history of working to get a role that helps to tie together these department and agencies. And OSINT is it's a really easy cross-cutting, cross-department, cross-agency mission.
And from a collaboration perspective, I imagine the factor that is important there too is similar to what we see in the Pentagon, which is we're not just thinking about within the building, we're thinking about allies and partners too. Is that what you see?
Could not be more correct. And we can look at the Straits of Hormuz today, or we can look at Eastern Ukraine, Donetsk today, and say this is exactly why open source intelligence matters, right? And Hormuz, you have automated AIS data on the ships. We're seeing a shadow tanker fleet. We just saw the U.S. Navy interdict one of the Iranian fleet in the Bay of Bengal, opposite side of the planet. And so uncovering those types of movements and being able to share it with security partners, by which I mean across international borders. It's always been historically difficult if you're, say a chief of station or deputy chief of mission in a foreign government, and then to share U.S. intelligence because it has to get downgraded and declassified. One of the beauties of OSINT sharing is if it is a purely open source intelligence derived product, it's a lot easier than trying to get a tear line to share that with a foreign defense partner or a foreign police partner. And so I think that that's going to really revolutionize things and help ensure that the United States can operate most efficiently as a global military power. It'll also help with the state, local partners here in the United States because we're not as concerned about taking sensitive, bespoke, clandestinely collected information, which really is a very sensitive topic. Whereas we're talking about open source, these are things that major companies are doing exactly the same work, and it allows us all to be on a common decision framework.
From an infrastructure perspective, what's your sense of the delta between what organizations in the IC need to realize that vision that you just described and what they actually have right now?
So I spend a lot of time traveling the world talking to senior defense and intelligence officials with allies. And our allies and partners are never as big as the United States. Their intelligence communities are never as robust as the United States. And so one of the things that those allies or security partners frequently are well aware of is that their intelligence, their strategic decision support needs to reflect what a private sector leader can have for their decision support. And I think that one of the deltas is For instance, if you were a geopolitical analyst at a major energy company, Extraction, or a major social media company, you literally can just log in and get access to things to do your own analysis, to run your own AI agents on all kinds of data sources that, until recently, it's been very difficult for a U.S. intelligence analyst, whether they're in one of the military branches or at NSA, NGA, CIA. I believe that this other transaction authority might actually create a common framework so that wherever you are as an intelligence analyst in the US government, you will have access to the same level of open source tools that a Fortune 500 geopolitical analyst would have access to. And it seems to me that that should be the table stakes for OSINT.
It's great to have you here, Sweet. Thanks for joining me
Hey,
today.
thank you again, Francis. Really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.